Hey, hi. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cecilia. Thanks for coming in to join us for this webinar. So to our Chinese participants, so Happy New Year, 恭喜发财, prosperity to all. So we are very pleased to have Pak Audif Ranzi, Fintech Supervisor from Indonesia, OJK, and also Pak Patrick Gunadi, CEO and co-founder of Danamart, to share about the latest fintech trends in Indonesia and why is fintech investing so important in Indonesia. So some housekeeping notes. We will be recording the webinar and making it available at a later date by email. You will be placed on mute throughout the speaker's presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to submit your questions. So let me, okay, yeah, sorry. So a very short background, I'm the head of syndication at CapBridge. I have more than 18 years of experience in capital markets, ranging from corporate finance, structured lending, portfolio management, before I started onto my startup journey. So I also note that I have a water alarm on the call. So Tian, hi, haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're doing well in Hong Kong. Okay, so moving on. Our agenda today is I will do a short introduction about CapBridge for some of you that may not know us. Then secondly, we would have Pak Audif talk about the Indonesian digital economy and the trends in fintech lending. And also our second speaker, Pak Patrick, to talk about digital financial inclusion before moving into the Q&A section. Okay, so as some of you may know, within the CapBridge group, we have two entities. The first entity is the CapBridge online syndication platform, an investment syndication platform where we fractionize, syndicate, and distribute investment deals. So on the second side, on the right side, is One Exchange, is for the listing and the trading of private company securities. We are considered the first regulated exchange for the trading of private company securities in Singapore, and some say in the world. So, okay, moving on. Our strategic investors include the Singapore Exchange, Hanwha Investment Group, Hong Kong Cyberport, Singapore's SG Innovate, and subject to MAS approval, AMDT, a Hong Kong headquartered investment banking group. Our strategic partners include CIMB, Deloitte, DBS, Bank of Singapore, UOB, and Hana Financial Group. So, okay, moving on. Our first guest is Pak Audif Ranzi. He is the Financial Technology Supervisor at the Indonesia Financial Services Authority, also known as OJK. Pak Audif focuses on the regulation, licensing, and the supervision of fintech companies at OJK in Indonesia. So moving on, the second speaker, Pak Patrick. He is the CEO and the co-founder of Danamart. Danamart is an Indonesian peer-to-peer lender platform that focuses on high social impact products. Its vision is to play a role in the improvement of Indonesia's standard of living in all areas. So prior to founding Danamart, Patrick has more than 15 years of experience in the financial industry, ranging from banking, capital markets, to alternative investments. Yep, and Patrick will share a little bit more about the digital financial inclusion trends in Indonesia. So Pak Audif, do you want to take it over from here? Thanks.
Sure. I will try to share my screen first. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Okay. Is it on already?
Yes, it is. Yeah, we are seeing your screen.
Okay. Okay. Hi again, Cecilia, Pak Patrick, and also all the attendees here joining us today. First of all, thank you for inviting us, OJK, to be part of this webinar. Allow me to introduce myself again. My name is Audi, and I'm an analyst junior representing the Directorate of Regulation, Licensing, and Supervision of Fintech OJK. And today, I will bring the topic of digital economy and fintech lending in Indonesia. Okay, moving on. First, we'll talk about the potentials of digital economy that we have here. in Indonesia. The data that we present here are gathered from several resources. Um, First, digital economy has reached around 44 billion US dollars in 2020, and in 2025 it may reach 124 billion US dollars. Furthermore, due to the pandemic outbreak, we see an increase of 37% in new consumers in the internet economy services, whereas 93% of them will likely to continue to use at least one digital service. And also, there's an increase of average time being online of 4.7 hours per day. Okay, next slide. Um, in terms of the condition in Indonesia, I will speak more regarding to the SMEs that we have here. Um, in 2019, the literacy index have reached 38%, and the inclusion index of 76%. This is still small. Regarding the national target is to reach 90% respectively by the year of 2024. Regarding the data from the Ministry of Cooperatives and SMEs, we have around 64 million SMEs in 2018, where around more or less 40 million people are in agriculture, livestock, plantation, fishing, and forestry sectors, which we can see about the details in the lower page of the slide. Also, they have contributed to our gross domestic product nationally as much as 61%, with the total labor force of 116 million. It is probably safe to say that not all of them have the sufficient funds to operate their SMEs, and not all of them can be served by the current available institutions. Okay, therefore, we have a big funding gap of around 2,300 trillion rupiah. How much would that convert to US dollar? Maybe, I don't know. Well, okay, next. On the other hand, there is a high number of internet users of around 175 million, 338 million mobile phones, and social media users of 160 million. So this is with the funding gap and the amount of internet users, this is where we hope that a peer-to-peer lending company can help bridging the funding gap, whether it is through their mobile platforms or web-based. And also this is due to our geographical condition. This would be to make it more easy for people to reach and have the funding that they need. Okay, next slide. So what is a peer-to-peer lending? It can be said it is a rather new and rapidly growing industry in Indonesia. Maybe it all started at around 2000, by the end of 2016, and still growing up until now. The P2P lending company is that can act to meet the needs of funding from the SMEs or any kind of borrowers with the lenders or the parties that are willing to invest through the IT-based platforms for that direct money lending. Also, all the agreements and transactions are made online from the platform that the peer-to-peer lending company provide. Okay, next I will show that there are some criteria for the users that must met before they can use the fintech platform that has been set by OJK under our regulation, and that is the POJK number 77, effective since 2016. On the bottom page here, you'll see a word penyelenggara. This is a term that we use to call the platforms that are giving the service um, to build, provide, and operate electronic system to bring together lenders and borrowers directly without physical meeting. Okay, so here in this slide, it is another area in our regulation that is concerning about the lenders' fund with focus on fraud and credit risk. This is to maintain the lenders' expectations, to feel safe and comfortable, and also to avoid shadow banking and Ponzi scheme. Okay, so the first one, oops, sorry. The first one, the first requirement is that the platform, they have to have collaboration with conventional banking in terms of using the bank's escrow and virtual account. This is to assure that the lender's fund does not go through the platform's personal account, but directly to the borrower. And to further assure that, there is a maximum number of days that that fund can stay inside the escrow or virtual account before it is being disbursed to the borrower, which is 2 days max when it is about to be disbursed to the borrower, and 1 day max upon repayment by the borrower to the lender. And if the fund exceeds the maximum days, then it must be returned to the former account, whether it is returned back to the borrower or to lender, um, just to further assure that there is no fund that is stuck or stay inside that escrow or virtual account. Second thing is the term we call TKB 90. This is a term that means in Bahasa, it is the short for tingkat keberhasilan bayar, or in English, it is successful repayment rate under 90 days. This is, we require the platforms to showcase their TKB percentage on their online platform, whether they are using an application or web-based platform. This is, then we can see that if a company, a P2P lending company have a big, P2P lending company A has, let's say, have a bigger TKB 90 from company B, meaning that company A has a better performance compared to company B. Okay, so the third requirement, we require the platforms to have collaborations with insurance companies, whether it's an insurance company or insurance broker, or maybe an insurtech, something company, an insurance company that is now developing and growing. Also, the requirement is that insurance company has to be a license or registered at least the minimum under OJK. The goal here is to mitigate credit risk. So if a borrower failed to make a repayment under that 90 days term, then the lender's fund will be refunded by the insurance. Okay, next, the fourth, we require the platform to collaborate and then integrate within their platform with a digital signature. Well, this digital signature is a process more leaning into the early part of the process where the borrower is proposing the fund through the platform, and this is to function to ensure to ensure the identity of a borrower through these non-physical transactions. And last, the fifth requirement is we require every P2P lending platforms to integrate with a credit scoring provider. This is to further analyze the track record of a borrower, and these data can be obtained from SLIK. This is a information system that is owned and operated by the banking supervision in OJK, or a credit information management agency, or called LPIP, which is a company that has been licensed also by OJK, or through FDC, an acronym for Fintech Data Center. So Fintech Data Center is a system information that is developed by AFP, and AFP is the officially appointed association by OJK to help us manage the P2P lending. What FDC can do, it can analyze a borrower to know, in particular, let's say, how many one borrower have make loan proposals to how many platform, how many loans ongoing, and so this is to be something that to make the lenders more secure by choosing the better borrower. Okay, moving on. In OJK, we also have regulated some specific regulations about consumer protection and consumer complaint, which you can see the regulation number on the above paragraph. Also, there is a consumer complaint service for the society that can be contacted through what we call contact 157. Is that by dialing 157 on your phone, or just sending an email to consumer@ojk.go.id. AFP also have their code of conducts that must be met by the P2P lending companies. And if you have any complaints, it can also be done by contacting them through their toll-free number, email, or website. Okay. Next, this is just some information about the industrial issues that we currently face or have faced before. First is data leaks, and then illegal P2P lending, and personal data fraud. In terms of data leaks, now we have restricted every official P2P lending, registered or licensed, to limit their data access of the user to only on camera, microphone, and location. Regarding the illegal P2P, yes, up until now, there's a big number that we found is illegal and has been blocked for more than 2,900 entities. We also have the Investment Alert Task Force, or in Bahasa we call it Satgas Waspada Investasi, that has the job to constantly look for illegal companies, blocking those illegal companies with the collaboration with Ministry of Information, but not only for illegal P2Ps, but also other financial sectors that is illegal. And about the personal data fraud, up until now, there is an assumption that there are syndicates that uses other people's personal data to make loans at fintech peer-to-peer lending. Okay, next is the profile and development of fintech lending in Indonesia. From the top left, as of November 2020, you can see that the accumulated loan disbursement is up to 10 billion US dollars, with more than 40 million borrowers account and almost 700,000 lenders account. And on the bottom right of the page, you can see the number 149. This is the total number of registered and licensed P2P companies combined in Indonesia under OJK. 37 of them have gained their license, while the other 112 are still in the middle of the process in acquiring the license. And business-wise, 139 of them are doing conventional business, whereas the other 10 are in Shari. Okay, going into the bottom left, uh, you will see that the outstanding loans as of November 2020 is as much as 998 million US dollars. New loan disbursement is more than 4 billion US dollars, and the average of the KB90 rate is 92.82%. Okay. Okay, going into the performance of the peer-to-peer lending industry. Basically, the slide shows the industry performance, which shows the loan disbursement, outstanding, and quality through the last year. We can see that there is a decrease as of starting March, and this is due to the pandemic situation. Um, Now we are seeing a more stable and a bit tendency to increase, but still it is slowly compared to the year before that. And also some other additional information that around 80% of loan outstanding is contributed by 21 platforms, and that is only 30% of what we have now. The total accumulated of loan disbursement to productive sector is 34%, and disbursement to outside Java is only 14%. And then 45% of the platforms currently and in average have equities below 2.5 million rupiah, and some are even having negative equity. We do still have many consumer complaints regarding P2PL services, including borrowers and lenders. Moving on. Okay, the trends in 2021. Some of the developments in 2020 will continue in this year. Sectoral development will be more about implementation of economic conditions, plans for changes in the POJK related to P2PL industry, and development of ecosystems. We can see that the growth we explained here from the bottom left, growth is still high, although it is not as big as the 2017 to 2019 period. To meet the requirements of equity and business development, where there will be many additional capital injections by the existing or new shareholders. The number of P2P operators is relatively stable, but there may be additional new platforms and the potential for further revocation or of registered and licensed platforms. Exploration of new ecosystems and collaboration in digital ecosystem continues to be encouraged because the very large potentials. And in exploring the ecosystem and exploiting each other's potential, there will be more collaboration between organizers in the form of co-lending and referrals. And we already are seeing a number of licensed platforms to be increased, and cooperation with banks in channeling loans will be even greater. Well, this is some of the, how can I say, expectations that we want to see in 2021. Okay, so this slide is just a overview of the distribution of loans outside Java. So we can see in the Java island here below is still have the highest number with from the total outstanding of 14 billion rupiah. And this is the data by as of 30 November 2020. And then next is the distribution of lenders' account, also showing bigger numbers in the Java island. Okay, I think that would be all that I would like to share with you today. Maybe if later in the question session there's something that you would like to know, you may ask me further on. Thank you. I'll send it back to you, Cecile.
Thanks, Park Audi. Park Patrick, you are ready to go?
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Cecilia. Okay. Thank you very much, Pak Audi, for your presentation. It's very informative indeed. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. First of all, good afternoon to all participants. Thank you for your participation in our webinar events. My name is Patrick Gunadi. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Danamart. Today, I will be sharing about digital financial inclusion in Indonesia and introduction to Danamart. And this introduction to my background. Okay, I used to study e-commerce and CQ in Australia. And after that, I started my professional career as an IT audit staff in ABN AMRO in Australia. And I went back to Indonesia in 2006, started to work in Bank Danamon. And after that, in DBS Bank, Standard Chartered, and MCL Wealth in Hong Kong for Indonesian market. And I started Danamart in 2018. Okay, why I start Danamart? The stigma is the rich is going to richer always. The economy are centralized. Conglomerates are owning most of the economy. With the digital assistant, I'm trying to decentralize economy. I'm trying to serve the underserved to have a better and equal investment opportunity and returns as a high net worth individuals. Okay. This is just snapshot of Indonesian economy in the post-pandemic world, the new normal Indonesian economy. The bad condition is the Indonesian economy is contracted to negative territory since the second quarter in 2020. However, in the third and the fourth quarter show improvements, government spending and stimulus as the main driver for the recovery. And with the vaccine arrival, economy are expected to show gradual improvement. The Indonesian economy are projected to rebound 4.5 to 5.5% in 2021, supported by household consumption, investment, government spending, and export. And Indonesian economic growth has been experienced an upward trend since the lowest 5.32% in the second quarter of 2020. And our indicator for economic growth is figures in GDP from the demand side, and the most dominant in this case is a household consumption, 57%, and investment, 30%. So the two alone is almost 90%. This means to boost the economic growth, the focus is on consumption, especially on household and investment. So another key factor for growth in 2021 is to boost export and various matters related to government spending. Okay, this is the world digital landscape. So with our total population, 7.8 billion, unique mobile phone numbers, 5.2 billion, internet user, 4.6 billion, and active media social user, 4.2 billion, and the growth itself is 13% per annum. So here's the snapshot of Indonesia digital landscape, and our total population is 272 million. Unique mobile phone number is 338 million, internet user 175 million, active social media users 160 million, and our growth is 8.1% per year. So more mobile phone subscriber than total number of population. It means that one people may be using two different phone numbers. And this is the Indonesia digital economy landscape. Yeah. First, we have fintech. If you see on the left of the fintech, there's Doku. It's a payment gateway actually. Then Danamart, peer-to-peer lending, and Kitabisa is actually a crowdfunding platform for donation. Then we have e-commerce, and we have on-demand service, Internet of Things, and digital wallet service. In the second quarter of 2020, the growth digital sector is 10% because during COVID-19 pandemic, people more dependent on the digital economy because it's contactless and no physical interaction. This is going to be more, it's going to keep safe as well. Even the online fast moving FMCG, the FMCG segment is increased by 200% during 2020. Okay, these are the main 5 sectors that support the growth of digital economy: e-commerce, transportation, food delivery, online travel, online media, and fintech. As you can see on the left is basically a survey from iNews. The use of digital service in Indonesia during pandemic, 40% remain the same, and 37 is to increase. And to increase, and you see on the right side, the use of e-commerce, e-money, health, education, and transportation education, because it's using online learning, the class is still shut down at the moment. However, even though the e-commerce transaction increased 54% during pandemic and the number of e-commerce sellers increased 5 times, there are still challenges to digital economy in Indonesia. Indonesia internet penetration is 62%, is still behind in Asian countries compared to Singapore, compared to Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam. And internet speed Indonesia is considered still the lowest in the region, and the highest is in Singapore. And weak cybersecurity and a lack of digital talent. And only for 9.4 MSME has gone digital compared to 60 million total number of MSMEs. But challenges and opportunity come in one package, many room for development and improvement in this area. So here in Danamart, apart from the pandemic situation, we identified the problem for Indonesian economy, and there's a very big gap to fill in. So I have divided into 2 sectors for SMEs and education sector. The SME, they have a limited access to capital funding, just like Pak Audi mentioned earlier, that the OJK has identified there's a 158 billion US dollar in funding gap. And the second one is cost of education is unequal to nation GDP. And SME still categorized as underserved for conventional financial institution, like banking. Loan assessment, because they require loan assessment through fixed asset collateral as a mandatory requirement. This is because the bank is under heavy regulation. And the next one is, this is the SME problem during COVID-19. MSME, as the backbone of Indonesian economy, contribute to 60% Indonesian GDP. Raising capital has always been a major issue for SMSE, besides the trend changing, technology adoption, low business acumen, business strategy, and administration. The problem is short of supply, cash flow, difficult to obtain from conventional financial institution, and uncertainty makes demand the lowest. And on top of that problem, for MSFE, there's a 60 billion US dollar funding gap that's categorized as underserved. And the next problem is the Indonesian tuition fee. Indonesian tuition fee is, the growth is the highest in the region. I don't know, this is supposed to be, how can I say it here? But it's compared to Singapore, the growth is only 60%, Australia 7%, Europe 5%, US 8%. And this is not a problem this is for the parents. So every students, if they wanted to join the, starting from the primary schools, parents in Indonesia, if they to put their children into the private schools, they have to stand by the entrance fee. Entrance fee normally is between 10 times to 20 times and needed to pay upfront. For example, to join the pre-primary, the entrance fee is $1,000, then the monthly fee is $53. And for primaries, the entrance fee is $1,400 and the monthly fee is $71. And the junior highs, the entrance fee is $1,700 and the monthly fee is $71. And for high school, the entrance fee is $2,100 and the monthly fee is $100. And for the college, $2,400 and the monthly fee 177. This is the average. Okay. This is the education costs. With the total number of students in primary school is 25 million, moving upward to the junior highs, decreasing into 10 million, moving upward to high school is decreasing to 9.7 million, and into the college is only 7 million. It's only actually 1/3. So this is the bottleneck that Danamart trying to solve. Okay, if you can see, is a very big potential as well. Let's say in the college, the annual fee for the college is $1,000. If time to the total number of the student is 7 million, so it's actually $7 billion total addressable market. And this is we spot another problem with the education institution. The education institution, their income from the tuition fee is generally only lasts for their operation expense, while they have a financing need. They have to expand for new classes, for maintenance, to make a new hiring, to professional hire. And as they form in the foundation, it makes them harder to obtain a loan from the banks, because the banks prefer to be into private company when there's a chairman or director, the one who's responsible. And because it's formed as a foundation, the banks are more reluctant giving them loans. Hence, for the if they have a collateral normally from the owners of the foundation, the bank is quite reluctant to accepting collateral such as schools, universities, or hospital, or church, or malls, because it's very hard for them to execute in the case of default payment. So the next slide is the statistic. This is the need for the education institution. If you can see, the number of high school is 27,000 in Indonesia. It's a public school and private school. But the one who has a biology lab is only 5,000. The one who holds a library is only 18,000. It means there's not, in every school, there's not even one laboratory for biology, or not even one library. So there's a still gap on it. So the other problem that we have identified is concerning the millennial investors. Indonesia enjoy demographic bonus with the average Indonesian citizen is 30 years old, which is our millennials. And millennial, as the digital savvy, they demand new digital asset class that produce more return compared to conventional asset class. So here are the answers to those problems. So the first problem is MSME funding gap, the high of education cost in Indonesia, and the third one, education institution underserved from conventional financial institution, and the last one, millennial investor are seeking a better return. So there are solutions. So peer-to-peer lending, peer-to-peer funding facility as a solution. So we acting as a digital bridge to fill in the gap. So this is our solution. MSME loans. So that we have invoice financing, purchase order financing, merchant financing, and from the education sector, we have student loans and education institution loan. Next one, we introducing to Danamart. Danamart is a P2P platform that focuses on high social impact products. It ultimately purpose to play a role in improvement Indonesia's standard of living in all areas. So as a digital platform that matches the borrower and lenders, just like online marketplace that connects sellers and buyers. Okay. We'll show you our video in grand launching. I will share my screen.
Selamat pagi dan selamat datang bagi Bapak Ibu yang terhormat, para hadirin dan undangan dari acara Grand Launching Danamart.
So we were launching in Indonesia Stock Exchange back in January 2019. This is the first event with OJK as well. OJK as one of the speakers, and we talked about the MSME digital economy and collaboration with Indonesia Young Entrepreneurs Organization.
Selamat pagi dan selamat datang bagi Bapak Ibu yang terhormat.
So we are on the fasting growing P2P platform in Indonesia. We are present in Jakarta, Bandung, and Manado. Manado is in North Sulawesi. And our vision is to become to be number one P2P public company focusing on productive sector in MSME and education in Southeast Asia. And our mission to assist Indonesian government to create economic equality in all levels of society, to create a financing method that can be accessed easily and quickly for at an affordable cost, to create an easy funding system that give more benefit to MSME companies and education sector in Indonesia. So this is Danamart milestone, founded February 2018, registered with the Ministry of Communication and Information in July 2018, registered on OJK in November 2018, grand launching January 2019, and we already obtained ISO certificate 27001. This is a bit of our growth. First year 133%, second year 350%, and average 245. And this is our products. As for the lenders, we are accepted individual lenders, foreign lenders, and institution lenders. And the benefit of being lender is we only provide high quality loans with low volatility. It's actually low correlation to stock market because it's micro investing. It gives better diversification, and the return is between 12 to 20% per annum. This is our performance last year, 2020. Average return in 2020 is 16.06%, and our NPL at 0.79%. And that's our lending service, divided into MSME loans, education loans. MSME loan, we are just like the previously mentioned, we going into invoice financing, purchase order financing, and merchant financing. And from the education sector, there's a Dana study actually for students or parents, and for education institution. So these are the five. This is the five segment. So we're going to entrance fee, job training skills and courses to provide training for Indonesian students if they're willing to study or work in overseas. So it's more like a skills training, higher education for bachelor, master, and doctorate. Overseas students, for example, for Indonesian students, they want to study in US or they want to study in UK. And we have education asset-backed securities. So this is what makes us different from the others. So we are digitized securities, education asset-backed securities. So it's more like subprime mortgage in the US in 2008. So basically in subprime mortgage, they are using mortgage as underlying to create bonds. In this case, we are using the future revenue from the education institution as underlying for them to create bonds. That's why it's going to make an attractive asset class. So basically, they are transferring the rights of their invoice in the future to our lenders. So basically, this is the scheme, give it for the scheme. So students enrollment to education institution. Education institution is a loan application to Danamart, and they transfer the right of their future invoices or chassis to Danamart. So this is the lender make repayment. And then this education institution will help Danamart to collect their tuition fee. So this is as a solution for the underserved as an education for institution, because as they form in foundation, it's quite difficult for them to obtain a loan from the conventional financial institution. This is our lending sector. 40% in education, invoice financing 35%, and 20% in purchase order financing, and 5% in merchant financing. This is our promise to the society. We have a foster parents program. It's basically from education to education. So every education loan transaction, we help Indonesian kids to get fostered. And the next one will show you. This is our testimonial from our borrower and our lender. The left one is from Muhammadiyah. Muhammadiyah is a major Islamic non-government organization in Indonesia. The organization was founded in 1912 and is also considered as the second largest Islamic organization in Indonesia with 50 million members. And they are also have around 5,750 schools owned by Muhammadiyah across Indonesia. And on the right one is from the lender side is a Credit Saison. Saison Indonesia. Credit Saison Limited is founded in Japan. They have been in the credit card business for more than 30 years and considered as a leading in its industry. So I will play the videos. The left one is Pak Ahmad Amarullah is actually director of Muhammadiyah University. And the right one, Yuta Katada, is a general manager for Saison Indonesia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Ahmad Amrullah, as rector of the UMT, University of Muhammadiyah Tangerang. We greatly appreciate for letting UMT be a part of this education funds program. We are trying to have your support. Through your funding, we have been able to accomplish our escalation program and to continue working towards our goals. I wish Danamart truly makes the difference for education sector in Indonesia. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
And next one from Yuta Katada.
My name is Yuta Katada. I'm come from the Saison Modern Finance, and which is a joint venture with Modern and Japanese credit card companies. So for Danamart, we have collaborating for more than 1 year. And so they give us a very good opportunity. So we are very happy to participate in this kind of opportunities. And they give us a good average return. It's about 16.6%. And so we have been good relationship with them. And so we are looking forward to grow together and contribute to the Indonesian society to grow to hand in hand with Danamart. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Here are the next slide.
My name is Yuta Katada.
Okay, next one is our anchor education. So we have exclusive affiliation with BINUS University. BINUS University is #1 private education in Indonesia. Is on the national scale ranking is #7, and on Asian ranking is number 232. BINUS University as one of our early stage investor as well. So we have so BINUS provide direction and go-to-market strategy for Danamart in education sector, along with the BINUS founder and BINUS marketing director. And also BINUS has more than 20 campuses across Indonesia with total active student of 40,000. So we also collaborate with SIS, Singapore International Schools. This is Muhammadiyah, CapBridge Institute, Erodio, and IDS. And for anchor asset MSE, MSMEs, Traveloka. Traveloka is OTA, online travel agent, and it's also one of Indonesia unicorns. We are also collaborating with HIPMI, HIPMI Indonesia Young Entrepreneur Organization, and we are collaborating as well with Kadin. Kadin is Indonesia Chamber of Commerce. And this is our partner for funding. GTO Finance is Jetras Olimpindo, Ciptadana, Saison Indonesia, Arta Prima, Dana Unico, Mega Finance, Credit Plus, Indosuria, and Bank Nia Commerce. So that's the last slide. So let's connect. Please like and subscribe to Danamart social media in Danamart ID and Instagram, Facebook, and then YouTube. So for those who are interested becoming our lender to support productive sector in Indonesia, SMEs and education, please go to Danamart website, www.danamart.id. Thank you very much, Cecilia. Thank you very much for all participants.
Okay. Just give me 1 minute. So, okay. Thank you, Patrick and Park Audi, for sharing your insights. So before we proceed into the Q&A section, so let me just do some self-promotion for CapBridge also. So we have just introduced a mobile app maybe about a few months ago. So we would like to actually, if you want to download the app, you can just click this QR code to do that. So it's an app that we have specially built for investors' convenience, where you can access it to diversify your investment portfolio into a wider range of direct private equity investments. You can also access and be notified on the latest deal on our platform. You just have to scan the QR code that is actually, sorry, okay. That's actually on the right. So let me just start with the Q&A side. So if you have any question, you can submit it through the Q&A, or you can raise your hand and we can unmute you to ask the question. So while we are waiting, so I have a few burning questions that I have received that I would like to ask. So Patrick, you mentioned about challenge and opportunity being in one package. So I'm directing the question to Park Audif. So what do you see in the Indonesian fintech space that we should be watching out for in terms of the biggest trend? You mentioned a few, and what do you think is the biggest challenge or concern that you have from OJK side? So Park Audif, need to unmute.
Do you mind to repeat the question again, Cecilia?
Okay, so Patrick mentioned that challenge and opportunity often comes in one package. So we are seeing a lot of that happening in Indonesia in the fintech space. So of the trends that you mentioned, which one is the biggest trend that we should watch out for? And what do you think are some of the key challenges?
Would that be in terms of the developments, or in what part would you specifically ask for? Let's say if
It's
we are
15 hours.
sorry, what
Sorry?
did somebody say anything? No.
No.
Oh, okay. So let's say in terms of the challenges, in terms of, say, for example, geographical, maybe for that part is the connectivity in some smaller remote area, or talking about, let's say, more on the productive sector side. But if let's say from what we have faced and still up until now for the risk, let's say, if we lean more into the consumptive sector, that would be we are still trying to make a better ecosystem regarding collaborations with credit scoring, or the how to make sure the users, the borrowers, is let's say they're really giving us the correct information that they have, or do they have the knowledge to make the proper lending, so that they won't have any problems, whether from the comparison in the income that they have and the amount of lending that they propose. I think there's it would I would say that maybe I hope that would be answering your question, but if not, let me know more about it.
So, Odip, you mentioned that in some more remote areas, there's issues with connectivity. So it's incredible that you are doing this in Indonesia because it's such a very dispersed you know country with so many thousands of islands. So you are trying to build a database of consumer information that can be used to access their credit risk, to actually provide them with more education, improve their data so that they can access credit in a more responsive or more readily available manner. That is good. That is good. That is great. Yep. So how is COVID affecting the fintech industry? How is that affecting the P2P industry?
Well, I would say it's not directly impacting the P2P industry, but the impact is from the borrowers that they would need to restructure the loans, or let's say for the there are quite many layoffs, and that results in the their capability to make repayments. I think that is what how it is impacting the most due to COVID.
Patrick, how is Danamart addressing this? Patrick, you will need to unmute, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Can you repeat the questions? Sorry.
So Park Audit mentioned that in COVID, there's difficulty in getting repayment because of the general situation. So how is Danamart managing this delay
That's true.
in payment?
From my point of view, from Danamart, the Danamart is categorized as a productive sectors. So I think it's about 80% of the fintech peer-to-peer lending in Indonesia is they are going into the payday loan or salary loan or multi-purpose sectors. So they are the more been hit the most because they are giving micro loan, let's say 1 million to 3 million rupiah, or let's say 100 to 300 US dollars. And they are very consumptive loans. So when the pandemic hits, so they are being hit the hardest. So especially the NPL are rising, and the lender appetite for the multi-purpose sectors is also decreasing as well. So they've been hit the hardest. So unlike productive loans, so because we can still manage the risk mitigation, and we can direct a repayment from the payer, the project payer, so we still consider it more attractive to the lenders, and lender appetite is remain the same. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a question from Andres. What is the top 3 challenges for Danamart in growing the business?
Okay, that's a very good question. Okay, number one, I would say talent. Our digital talent would be one of the challenges, and then we also need support from the regulation itself. So because normally innovation is moving faster than the regulation, pardon me, Pak Audi, and we also need support in that area. So and we need to basically we need support from the government to be digitally inclusive for to be financial, because if we see the growth, is about 70%, just like Audi mentioned, is only in Java area, but there's still but Indonesia is not only Java, there's more than Java. We need to move fast to educate the market, because the fintech market the fintech industry in Indonesia is more like just like e-commerce 10 years ago. So we're still a baby. This is to be a lot of challenges. That's why we need also the support from the government as well. Hopefully that answered the question, Cecilia.
Yep, I think Andres, I think that answers Andres'
I would
question.
like to add a little bit to that, Cecilia. Well, we do in some of the requirements that we give for the platforms, we do require them to make, let's say, um, what do you call
Event 12 events in upcountry.
yes, that the 12 events. So
Yeah.
they have to make at least 12 events to different areas, different cities, province, and also we at OJK also give some events to socialize people about what is a peer-to-peer lending. Um, well, it is um, a little play that act that we do just to inform more to inform people more about what this industry is about. That's it. That would be all. Thank you.
Patrick, I noticed on one of your deck saying that Danamart's NPL non-performing loan ratio is about 79 basis points, 0.79%. How does that compare against the industry, and are you staying ahead of the race?
Based on the association data, for the fintech in multi-purpose loan, they are increasing very high. So we are so grateful to maintain low NPL because we have the support from our education anchor as well, from entrepreneurship. So when there's a indication for late repayment, because we are already in partnership with education institution, we have support from them as well. And for the productive loan itself, we are fairly selective. Since the pandemic, we only focusing on disbursing on only two few sectors, just like health and food related. So mostly basic needs and FMCG. And we also prioritize the government COVID project beside the certainty and payment, and it gives added value to the society.
Okay, so one of the attendees asked, does OJK regulate P2P platforms in terms of non-performing loans? Audif?
Actually, yes, but back to what I have explained, the term we use is TKB 90. So the difference TKB compared to NPL is you give the number of bad loans, but with TKB we show the percentage of successful repayment rate. So it's just um, something that if you see from the negative side, you call it NPL, but we rather call it TKB. And we do regulate about this to not for the platforms not to have any bigger than any lower than 97%. Although, yes, from what I did show before, we are experiencing a rather big, a rather low TKB because also one factor is about due to the pandemic condition and also the issues that I also mentioned before. And so it is something that we are trying to eliminate and make it better.
So, yeah, thank you, Pak Audif. Pak Patrick, you mentioned that your lower than usual NPL is because you work very closely with the university. Can you share a little bit more about your method of collection? This is a question from Hendrik.
Okay, we have autonomous notification. So before the due date for the interest, let's say we have notification D minus 14, D minus 7, D minus 3, and on the D day. So we have to act quick whether we have to give them. We have to do during pandemic. We have to do loan monitoring. Is very close because we are aware of the current situation. So when they have might have a difficulty, so we are not using robot collection anymore. So it's going to be human calling them, and we're gonna how they can help, how we can find a solution. And if they are not responsive, we're gonna ask the university to give them emails or give them notification as well.
Okay, so we have a question from Raymond on Danamart again. So Patrick, so why does Danamart not give productive loans for the agricultural segment, such as for farmers or for fishermen? Do you want to comment a little bit more?
This is one of this is already in Danamart pipeline, so we are still assessing the collection method as well, because one of the challenges, one of the main challenges in the peer-to-peer is the collection part. So we are still assessing key options, so online and offline options. But we already have a few platform to be collaborate for this year. We already have in pipeline, because we see it's a very big gap to fill as well for the farmer and the maritime sector as well.
Okay, so besides the agriculture sector and the educational sector that we are currently focusing on, so what other exciting sector is Danamart targeting for?
Okay, we want to focus to be in ecosystem lending, so we can assess the end-to-end, because the most challenging part is the repayment. So that's why we like it. That's why we are collaborate with the one of Indonesia unicorn, because it's ecosystem lending. So with the education itself, if you're giving to the students, it's basically also it's ecosystem lending as well. So we need to be certain, and we have to be secure in terms of repayment. So the repayment methods. So before we going into this into the sector, the first we assess is how do they gonna make repayment, and what are our options.
Mhm. Okay, so from the viewpoint of the investor, so what is the typical risk return profile of an educational backed asset versus an asset that's backed by unsecured loans or business loans?
Uh, Basically, the return is about 15 to 18% per annum. But in this case, with the education asset-backed securities, they are actually holding a promissory note from the education institution. Is under their name, so they have extra collateral. So they have something just like you buying bonds. So they are actually holding a piece of paper. Yes, they have the right of the education institution future revenue. Let's say for the next 3 years. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Let's say the loan is.
Patrick, just yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Let's say the loan is for the loan tenure is 3 years. So actually, they are holding a promissory note that using using a tuition fee as underlying for a future revenue for the next 3 years.
Mhm. Okay, let me just see. Okay, I think is there any more questions for Park Olive and Park Patrick? So,
Do you, maybe do you still need the comment from OJK side regarding the what about the products for Danamart?
I think maybe Park Olive, do you want to share a little bit more about your view in that space in general, not just from Danamart on the agriculture side? It'll be interesting for us.
Well, how I'm trying to find out how to say this, but in the first the early period, maybe around 2017 to 2018, the people who are developing the platforms, um, it was uh, more to the looking from the profit, looking at the profit side, how it actually how quick it is actually to get the return, but maybe they were a bit unaware about the potential risk that it would cause. But and then um, later in late 2018. Then, if I'm not wrong, maybe I was wrong, but some of the productive sectors were uh, starting to be penetrated by Danamart started 2018, right, Pak Patrick?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, so and also there are also some of the platforms there that they actually are based in other islands outside of Java. So their products, their loans is more towards the agriculture or the farming sectors. Um, but I guess because it is in the early stage of this industry and still maybe regarding the issue about connectivity in the remote area. So I guess it was just people leaning towards the easy part. So where if you're going into more of the productive side, it's there will be more capital that need to be injected to be for that kind of sector. Um, but also we at OJK are lately and starting in 2019, we are trying to um, limit the platforms that are going into the multi-purpose or the consumptive sectors, and we are encouraging them to go more into the farming or the agriculture and also the shari areas, and even up until early 2020, uh, we even though you can have the multi-purpose products, you still play into that sector, but uh, have we make them to have also the productive to go into the productive sectors. So I think that's just a bit of the overview of what we did lately.
How are they, since you're talking about the development of the industry, I'm actually keen to hear a little bit more about how is the P2P or the fintech lending space development in Indonesia versus other countries. Do you want to share a little bit more about that?
Um, about what? I'm sorry.
How is the Indonesia P2P lending space developing versus like the P2P system in China, in Singapore, or even in other countries?
Okay. So well, and if we compare to China, maybe um, I I can't say really much because from what we uh, get from researching um, is maybe it's just a matter of the regulation was made a bit late compared to uh, when the industry started, and also maybe in terms of how strict it is regulated, and that maybe caused the issue that the P2PL industry in China um, have, and in Singapore maybe not too. I don't really know about how it is in Singapore, but we and also actually from the regulations that we did have right now, it is we didn't benchmark to other countries, but um, we actually look to other sectors that we have here in Indonesia. Let's say the regulations in banking, we adopted to how would it be best to be adopted to this industry. Also from the capital market, let's say from the part that the fund that is maximum only can stay in the escrow is 2 days, and it is actually from the OJK in the other sectors that we look into. So I'm not really, we don't really compare it yet to other countries, but only we know that it is, we have many more platforms compared to other countries in the world. I think that's it.
Thanks, Pak Olive. This is, I know this is not an easy question, and I have spoken to some investors about this. And one of the feedback that I got is OJK has been very proactive in adopting a lot of consumer or end user protection measures in terms of privacy, data privacy for the end users, and also for clamping down on illegal, unethical P2P providers. So, so not an easy question. Thanks for taking it. Okay, so we have, I think, 2 more questions. So from Hendrik, there's a lot of P2P lending. What is your strength compared to those that are established and that has really built an ecosystem? I think that is meant for you, Patrick, about for Danamart.
Okay, thank you, Cecilia. Okay, one of our strength is being in line or in the group with BINUS University as a number one private university in Indonesia. So we have advantage to understand the pain point from education side. So when we understand the pain point, so we have a better strategy, and we have a better go-to-market strategy to give the solution. And one of the solution that we offer is that we actually made the digital securities process education asset-backed securities. I think we are the first one P2P Indonesia that doing securitization process for education. That would be all. Thank you, Cecilia.
Okay, I think so. Raymond has a suggestion for OJK to give more priority to agriculture sector, such as farmers or fishermen, not just on financial or human resource. So just I guess suggestion from him. So I think we if there's no other questions, I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for joining. So if you have any question, please feel free to please feel free to actually reach out to me. So I'm doing a share screen where you can see my email address, which is ceciliasim@capbridge.sg. So thanks everyone for taking the time. We will be sharing the recorded webinar via a link to everyone that has attended. So thank you for your time. If you have more questions for Park Olive or Park Patrick, please let me know. Okay, thanks everyone for taking the time. Thank you, Park. Thank you, Park Patrick. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Patrick.